Hey guys, it's MugenLord here, and today we're going to talk about Baldurs Gate 3. And no, we're going to talk about a specific portion, an aspect of Baldur's Gate 3 that has pretty much everybody talking all over X, not Twitter anymore, that people are pointing out some of the hypocrisy from Western studios and some of the mindset of some of these gamers who were pretty much against certain depictions and objectifications of female characters and other portions in some games, but it's pretty much okay in this game. So before we dive into it, make sure you hit that subscribe button, notification bell for more gaming content here on this channel. So this video is going to be a bit of a rant because I want to give you my thoughts and opinions on this, because we've been talking about this for the past 3 weeks, going on a month now, when it comes to the depiction of women and just the all-out censorship when it comes to content in video games, more specifically from the West. So what about Baldur's Gate 3? Now, Baldur's Gate 3 has been a game that many people has been anticipating. I have owned Baldur's Gate 2 on Nintendo GameCube. Yeah, that was years ago since we have seen a Baldur's Gate game, but it was a game that pretty much everybody's been excited for, and now that the game is out, this game is pretty much breaking records. Now I will say that, like, Larian, the company that's been working on it, they work their asses off, and they also have a lot of developers here, especially on the west side of things, that's really panicking right now because they have offered a fully complete product, no microtransactions or anything of the sort. This is the full experience, and gamers are really appreciative of that, and that's really changed the dynamic of everything. Developers already felt threatened by Elden Ring. Elden Ring had also made Game of the Year and was a full complete package, full complete experience. So everybody's loving it, everybody's enjoying it. It's at the top of the charts, and it pretty much, I believe, it dethroned Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. So that's not the issue here. They have a game that everybody enjoys playing. But there's an aspect that most people are really talking about on the cultural side of gaming, and that is the censorship for some aspects of certain games, and then when it comes to games like Baldur's Gate 3, it's completely fine. And what we're talking about here is the whole sex and romance feature that's in Baldur's Gate 3. Now, you guys have seen my videos when I talked about how the West depicts women and everything like that, and that pretty much video have caused a lot of controversy on both ends. Most people agreed, and yet the other side who pretty much disagree with it. But you always had this common thing coming from journalists and the detractors saying that, hey, if you want porn in your game, you can go watch porn somewhere else. Or if somebody just want to see and have an attractive character, or attractive female character, or a female character with some curves, all of a sudden you're labeled an incel. Or hey, if you want this, go watch porn. But then you turn around and you look at Baldur's Gate 3, and the most controversial thing before the game has released was the scene where you was able to have sex with a bear. One of the characters have this ability to transform to pretty much anything they want. So the developers wanted to show off the many different options that you have. And here it is, you have the audience clapping and cheering and just looking at the sheer ridiculousness of a character having sex with a full-on bear. Now, yes, this person can transform into one, but the fact is, this is crossing the line of bestiality, but that's perfectly fine. Journalists is making complete videos about it, talking about, oh yeah, this is a joke, this is pretty funny, and and pretty much commending this type of degeneracy. But then you turn around and you have someone like me and many others who point out that, hey, what's going on with the female characters in Mortal Kombat, or what's going on with Western developers and how butt ugly they making women look in their games, and all of a sudden you're called an incel, you're called a misogynist, you're called a sexist, you called all kinds of things for saying that, hey, we want to see attractive looking characters, we want to see attractive looking women on, in our video games. You're pointed out just for wanting something that look attractive. But in this game, there's plenty of scenes that you will see. I mean, ridiculous scene. One person showed this one scene where two characters, male characters, like a blowjob type of scene, which of course is masked out, and I won't show it or whatever like that, but people were sharing all over the internet and was saying that, yo, like, wait a minute, this is permitted, but yet games, especially like Dead or Alive Volleyball, which is just girls in bikinis playing volleyball, that game was pretty much banned, couldn't come to the United States. And then you had articles writing about it, that it had, about the objectification of women, but yet you allowed to have full-on sex in this game. Now the thing is, I don't have a problem with sex in video games. If people want that, and it's all about giving the fans what they want. It's all about giving the fans what they enjoy and what they want to see. That's not the problem. The problem is the double standard here. And the people who want to see, attraction in their characters and stuff, they're pretty much being villainized for that. But then it's okay to have these weird fetishes, having sex with bears, creatures, and all kinds of other degeneracy in this type of game, and it's completely fine. And I will also say this too, it just seemed like if it comes to Eastern studios, things has to be censored, but when it comes to Western style, Western studio games, then this stuff is permitted. Because you remember back during PS4 and I think the PS5 version too, if I can remember, Devil May Cry 5 had scenes where it pretty much blotted out Trish's body, but then all of a sudden when you had The Last of Us 2, Abby was getting just complete back shots. That dude looking chick was allowed to have back shot scenes in that game, but yet they had to censor Trish's naked body in a video game. Like where's the consistency when it comes to that? It just doesn't make sense. And then let's talk about what Square Enix had to do to Tifa in Final Fantasy VII Remake. They literally said they had to really change her up because of the ethics department. And they had to worry about how she's going to be presented, especially when bringing the game here in the West. So now they had to change things up, give her leggings. They had to give her a sports bra, to do all these other things so she won't appear overly sexualized, but yet you're allowed to have these things in these Western developed games. That just blows my mind. It just boggles my mind how this is, this is acceptable. And then of course we could talk about Ashley and Resident Evil 4 Remake. There's a lot of fans who felt some type of way about them changing certain lines, removing certain aspects, that refers to Ashley and everything like that. But then you look at games like Baldurs Gate, that's completely fine. And I also wanted to go on this website because it's just funny because how ridiculous it is as far as how far the hypocrisy go when it comes to this. Now there was an article here on Rock Paper Shotgun where it talked about Baldur's Gate 3 is a relentlessly horny game. So pretty much Alice Bell, she goes through her experience and she's talking about the many different sexual, romance options that you have in the game and stuff like that. And then you go check, and that's not the thing I really wanted to highlight, but this is the part that really gets me. After she talk about her experience with the sex options and the many different things she explains about what you can do with the characters in the game, then she goes on to say that this isn't bad though. The amount of horniness is what creates an amount of choice, especially getting that campfire quickie expected feature of RPGs, and that being the case, why limit yourself? It's a fantasy world. A statistically significant amount of Baldur's Gate 3 sex happens when one or both participants are floating in midair, do the bear sex, do the weird tantric wizard thing. The other day, I got into an argument with a terrible detective who was also a tiny golden flying elephant. Why would the sex be the one thing in the world that's normal? Now, this is the thing that gets me. The person right here, Alice, says that why limit yourself is a fantasy world. But video games, I've been saying this in all my videos. Video games is a fantasy. They're not going like what's the point of going for realism? You're doing everything that isn't real in a video game, but then when it comes to depictions of certain characters or genders and stuff like that, then that's when, we really need to pump the brakes on this. We really got to be realistic with this. That, quote unquote, most people would say and what Western developers would say. But all of a sudden, this game is completely fine because it's just a fantasy. The sky's the limit. Just remove all the shackles. Just have fun. Go all out when it comes to the pure, degeneracy that you're allowed to engage in this game.
Give me a moment, for pity's sake. You've exhausted me already.
Now, like I said before, if that's what people are into, I don't have a problem with that when this is something that's catering to that base. But all I'm saying is keep that same energy when you have fans who want to see attractive women, or they want to see certain depictions of characters in the games that they enjoy, especially more specifically Japanese games, developed games, or Eastern developed games. Because it seemed like that one side is okay for permitting stuff like this, because even in the game itself, when you create your character, there's also full-on nudity and everything like that. And you'll be able to adjust the sliders, but it's kind of funny that from what I heard that there's really no boob sliders for the females, but there's a junk slider for the males that you're allowed to adjust. Find that kind of funny. But they're capable and you're allowed to have that. I don't have an issue with that. If that's what they want to do, then that's fine. I just don't like the hypocrisy or how one-sided it is, because where is that same energy from these people? Because these journalists, these are the same people, these journalists and all these detractors that you will find on Twitter that will attack you, they're nowhere to be seen when it comes to this game. In fact, they're posting the sex scenes. You can see it on Twitter. They're posting the sex scenes of all the craziness that you can encounter in this game, and yet that's fine. These are the same people that's telling you that they're calling you horny. They're saying to you that you're an incel and go play porn or go watch porn, but yet they're pretty much posting up the depiction of what porn is, because there is pretty much porn in this game essentially, but it's okay for them to do that. And that's why I talk about, and I always say this, just continue to call this nonsense out, continue to stand your ground and say, hey, this is what I want, and just ignore those people, because at this point they really have they have no foot, they have no stool, they have no high ground to stand on at this point. I don't want to hear nothing from these crowds of people after all this, after shaming other people for having preferences and wanting to see or wanting to have certain things in their games, but then turn around, it's completely okay. And this goes overboard compared to some of the soft things or some of the mild things people want. For some reason, just wanting a curvy woman or wanting a woman to just look attractive looking and appealing to you, they label that as you wanting porn. That's crazy. So a woman being curvy or having a bust, that's automatically porn? So think about what people are saying when it comes to the aesthetics of a woman. That any signs of bust, any signs of curve, that automatically deemed as porn. But yet you see degeneracy like this in Baldurs Gate 3, that's completely fine. It's just a joke, because you see it on Twitter and X, or you see it from journalists. You don't understand, this is a joke behind this. No. Either one thing is, if this is okay, then everything should be okay. So that pretty much just wraps this up. I just wanted to give you my thoughts and opinions on this, because I really find this just downright ridiculous with Baldurs Gate 3. The sheer hypocrisy. It seems like Western studios are allowed to have things like this, and Eastern studios is not even showing sex at all. It's just the woman's body, the figure, the curves or the bust or whatever like that. And all of a sudden, that's the problem. But this is full on. Pretty much, you can call it porn, and that's what the hypocrisy come from. Like I said, if that's what you into, that's what you into. But gotta keep that same energy when it comes to these type of conversations and everything, because I just don't think that's right. And you shouldn't, be on this high ground and then shame others for wanting to have their preference. But then it's totally okay. You engage in the same. You're engaging in just pure degeneracy. But fine, go ahead. That's what you into, that's what you into, you know? But that wraps this video up. If you enjoyed this video, hit that like button, subscribe button, because it definitely helps you out in the algorithm. And by the way, check out this shirt. This shirt right here is made by my brothers Keo Lancer and DX Strike. They have their own t-shirt company called Strike and Keo Tees, Official Business LLC. You can check out their website where you can find plenty of cool shirts. They also customize shirts, so if you're a content creator and want to have your own brand on a shirt, you can go check them out, talk with them. They can make you a shirt as well. And also, if you a non-profit organization or any kind of business as well, they give you some custom deals. So definitely go check them out. I'll leave the link in the description below. Remember, Strike and Keo Tees. And this is MugenLord signing off. See you Game Fiends later. Peace out.